Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Pam Obasa, the founder of The Lucrative Lady, and on this YouTube channel I focus on helping content creators, course creators, coaches and service-based entrepreneurs to absolutely smash social media and create a consistent flow of leads and clients in your business. So in this video I really want to talk about Instagram. I haven't spoken about Instagram so much on this channel and I get a ton of questions about Instagram, so I decided to focus up to create a whole series on Instagram. So this is just one of a series of videos to really help you to grow your following on Instagram. Speaking about Instagram, are you following me on Instagram? We have 2 accounts on Instagram, Pam Obasa and of course The Lucrative Lady, so make sure that you are following us there. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and of course turn on your bell. So I want to talk about some of the deadly, absolutely deadly mistakes that you might be making on Instagram that you are probably not aware of. How do I know this? Because I was making some of these mistakes myself without even realizing that it was really stunting my growth. So if you are finding that you have plateaued on Instagram, i.e. you've reached a certain number of followers on Instagram, but you're finding it really difficult to continue to grow, like you're doing all the things, but it's not working out for you, then you're going to want to watch this video till the very end. Now, in this video, I really want to talk specifically about some of the things that a lot of people do not talk about. So a lot of the stuff, the common things that you would have heard are things such as do not use bots, which I agree, so don't use bots. Be patient, be really consistent on Instagram. Do not buy followers or likes or anything like that. And of course, make sure that you are commenting on other people's posts. So those are 5 things that a lot of people who create these videos do always talk about, and I stand by those, and those things are true. But I want to share with you 7 things that a lot of people don't actually talk about, which has really helped me with my own growth in my business when it comes to using Instagram. So I'm going to go backwards from 7 down to my favorite. Right, so let's hit the ground running. Make sure you are taking copious notes, and of course make sure you watch until the very end. Now, before we even begin, I want to say a massive thank you to this specific person inside of our community who has been commenting and engaging and of course doing all of the work. We really appreciate you for that. And if you want to have a chance of being featured in any one of my videos, all you have to do is make sure that you subscribe to this channel, screenshot this specific video and send it over to us on IG through your stories. So put us in your stories and tag us so that we know, and of course then you have a chance of being featured. Now let's hit the ground running with number 7. So number 7, the 7th thing that a lot of people are not doing, not just on Instagram, but doing on any of the social media platforms, is that they do not understand how the platforms even work. What I mean by that is that platforms have micro platforms within them. And so what a lot of people are doing is when they think about Instagram, they just think about Instagram as a whole, but they're forgetting that there is of course Instagram, but there's Instagram stories, Instagram highlights, your Instagram feed, there's Instagram ads, there's also your actual profile on Instagram, and all of these areas all deserve their own strategy. So people are not strategizing for each of these specific areas, and of course they're not really following on the trend of what is new in terms of using new features. One of the latest features that has just come out of recent is of course Reels, and I have a video all about how to get started with Instagram Reels, which is right up there, so make sure you check that out. But a lot of people are not jumping on the bandwagon on the new features, and one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up in this video is because one thing that I've noticed about Instagram and of course Facebook and all of these other platforms is that when they put out a new feature, it's almost like the algorithms have no idea what is going on, so they sort of leave the gate wide open, which means that when you use these new features, you are rewarded even more. So you are rewarded with reach, you are rewarded with followers, you are rewarded with what you want from social media, which is essentially attention, right? You are rewarded with attention. So in Instagram, you're rewarded with followers and people taking calls to actions and commenting and all of those things. So make sure that you really understand how Instagram works in terms of the various micro platforms within Instagram, and of course, make sure that you are using its latest feature Right now, it's of course Reels. So tip number 6 is this, or rather the number 6 thing that where a lot of people make a lot of mistakes is that they have absolutely no direction when it comes to Instagram. So they have no direction, and what that means is that they are just posting whatever it is that they want to post. One minute they're posting, videos or pictures of themselves doing their makeup. The next thing they're doing is they're posting something about their food, or the next thing they're doing is posting pictures, about themselves going shopping and all of those things. Now, if you run a business, which is, what I'm specifically referring to, then you definitely want to stay away from that. Now, of course, if you're just using Instagram for the sake of connecting with your family, your friends, and your acquaintances and all of these types of people, then that's totally fine. You can do whatever it is that you want on your Instagram. But if you plan on using Instagram to grow your business, then it is absolutely important that you have a game plan. What is a game plan? Well, the first thing you have to consider when it comes to building your strategy for Instagram is what is your niche, right? Who is your audience? Who is your ideal follower? Because these are the types of people that you want to follow you, because they are the types of people that will take action, which is what you want from social media. You want people to move off of Instagram to come onto your email list, because that is the only way that you will actually grow in terms of generating sales and generating cash. So doesn't it make sense that you work from the end back to the beginning? So at the end, who is your ideal client at the end of that road, and you go back to the beginning and think, well, if this is my ideal client, then I need this type of person to be following me on Instagram, right? So you niche in. So who is your ideal client? Once you have discovered who that is, your ideal follower is, then you've got to think about what is the ideal type of content that they would like to follow. What is the ideal type of content that speaks to them? Do they respond to videos? Do they respond to images? Do they respond to live? Do they respond to stories? Are they the short attention span type of people, i.e. stories? Or do they love deep thinking and deep and long videos and all of those things, in which case IGTV is where you ought to hang out. So once you have this, you have a really clear strategy for how you are going to build your account, because yes, a lot of people will come, but as soon as they come, they will leave if your content doesn't engage them. And the only way to know that your content is engaging is, of course, to make sure that you have a strategy. So the next mistake that I see a lot of people making, and this is a double whammy mistake, so you might fall into any one of these categories. So recently we had a situation happen where one of our buyers, actually one of our customers, added me on Facebook, and so she added me on Facebook and I accepted, and that was okay. And the next thing I saw one of her posts, and the moment I saw it, I recognized that post, and I thought to myself, this is my post, this is my post from Instagram. So I immediately went onto one of our Instagram accounts, the Lucrative Lady account, and it didn't take long. Literally, I had to do 2 scrolls and I found the exact post. So what she had done is she had taken the exact post, cropped everything out, and had then posted it on a separate platform as her own, with her own caption, with her own content, without, of course, crediting me where she got it from. Now, the reason I know it's my post is because it's our design. This is our team design. We know it is our colors. It's everything, right? So one of the biggest mistakes that I see content creators like myself and like you do, and that was a mistake that we made as well concerning that specific post, is of course that people are not deep watermarking their post, right? They're not deep watermarking their post. That means that you're not crediting yourself. So in this specific instance, we had watermarked the post in the corner, but it meant that it was so easy for somebody to just crop that off and post it as their own and add their own watermark. So now what my team is doing, the message that I've sent out to my team is this: make sure you are watermarking in the middle of the post. Make sure that the watermark is in such a place that if somebody is going to snag this post and want to crop out the watermark, they would literally have to start again, which is what we want, right? If you're going to create a post, you want to be original. So make sure that you are starting again. Now, there is borrowing and there is stealing. What I described earlier on is stealing. That's very different to borrowing something. So make sure that you protect your content. And that's one of the biggest benefits. Yes, it will take a little bit of time for you to watermark your stuff, but trust me, it does 2 things. 1, it protects your content, which means that if somebody's going to share it, that you are going to be credited. 2, it protects your content in the sense that if somebody's going to crop out everything that belongs to you in terms of your branding and all of those things, that it's really difficult to crop something that's smack bang in the middle. The other is that it grows your brand. which means that if somebody does share your content, so does your watermark. Your watermark gets shared as well. Like, it goes along with whatever it is that they have shared. So when people see it on their own platforms, you in fact get credit for that. So make sure that you are more watermarking like crazy everything that you do. Now, of course, I'm not saying put 100 watermarks everywhere, but no, just be strategic about it and make sure that you are watermarking at least right bang in the middle. And this leads me to number 4, which is that if you do reshare somebody's post, make sure that you give them credit by tagging them. There are 2 reasons why you want to do this. One, of course, is to give them credit, to give credit where credit is due, because I really believe in reciprocity. If you are helping somebody to grow their own audience by sharing, guess what? They will share you too. They will commend you for it. They will promote you for it. They will help you along the journey. It's all about giving somebody else a hand up. When you give somebody else a hand up, they will give you a hand up as well. That's really, really important. The other thing that it does when you tag somebody, when you share their content, is that it notifies them. One of the strategies that smaller accounts use in order to grow is to reshare content from bigger accounts in the hopes that those bigger accounts would also reshare them to their own accounts, thereby exposing them to their own audience, which is much bigger. This is a fantastic strategy, except one of the mistakes that people do is they just reshare without tagging. The problem with doing that is that if you do not tag me, I won't have any idea that you have just reshared my post. Right, and I see my posts being reshared all the time in the proper way, not being stolen, but I see it being reshared all the time, and sometimes I come across it and I then click and I have a look and oh, you know, my watermark was there, etc. So I know that that it is my post. But these specific people have forgotten to tag me, which meant that I wasn't notified. Therefore, if I hadn't stumbled across it, I have no idea how to repay them, how to say thank you, or how to share some of their stuff to my audience. So if this is a strategy that you are using, make sure that you are tagging whomever you are sharing their post, because then that way you get to build a relationship, and of course you have a really big opportunity for them to share your stuff to their own audience. Now we are going into number 3 before we hit my all-time favorite, which is of course number 1. So before I share number 3, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please make sure you do. Hit the subscribe button and of course turn on your bell and give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it because it helps me to grow, and judging by everything that I've shared so far about reciprocity, you know what that means. It means that one day I might give you a hand up as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. So number 3. The third mistake that a lot of people make is actually using their stories so much but not leveraging the highlights. Yes, I see a lot of people using their stories and pouring in a copious amount of time into stories on Instagram, and stories are great. Stories are really, really good because quite a lot of people actually prefer to watch the stories than to read the feeds, and also because stories have a specific length of time, it can be more engaging, which is, I guess, why a lot of people do watch the stories. But where a lot of creators and course creators and coaches and service-based entrepreneurs, where they are really dropping the ball, is because they are not then leveraging the stories into a highlight. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, stories, whether you know it or not, disappear after 24 hours. So imagine that you spent a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever, creating this specific story. You've thought about it, you've planned it, or you've caught it on the fly. You've created this story. Now, only the people who see that story within that 24 hours are going to ever see it, unless you click through, which takes just a couple of steps. You click that button and click on add to highlights. Once you've added it to highlights, it means that when new people come to your channel, even if you've missed a few days of stories, for example, they will see your highlights. And one of the things that I love about the highlights is that when your highlights are being viewed, it goes from highlights to highlights. So it just keeps going through and people start to see things. I mean, if you go on my highlights, you get to see a lot of things that I have posted from years back that were first in my stories. Now, if I had left those as just stories, they would have disappeared into thin air and you would have no idea what Pam was doing 2 years back, unless you scroll through my feed, and guess what? Most people won't do that. So utilizing your highlights is just another form of creating content And what I love about it is that you're actually just repurposing the content that you had created in your stories. So make sure that you always add your stories to your highlights. Okay, this leads me to number 2. Now, before I share with you what number 2 is, I've actually created a cheat sheet for you, which shows you exactly my best tips for Instagram, my best strategies and things that I rely on that has really helped me to grow my Instagram account really, really quickly. So if you have a look in the comment section or in the description of this video, you will be able to find that. So before you go off this video, before I share number 2 and of course number 1, make sure you click that and grab it, because I promise you it will be one of the best things you grab today. So number 2 is again to do with stories, and that is not adding captions to your stories. What do I mean by that? Now, this is a mistake that I was making as well, right? Now, one of the things about stories is that, well, number 1, stories are mostly videos. Yes, you can use images for stories, but a lot of people use videos for stories as well. The thing about videos is that when Instagram shows it, when people watch stories, a video story, that the sound is actually off. Right? So they have to actually turn on their sound to hear you speak. So imagine that you've spent all this time speaking and creating all of this content for your stories, and people are just viewing them. And yes, you have that view. You can see that, you know, so-and-so has watched your stories and all of that, which is all vanity metrics, by the way. Yeah, because if they haven't turned on their sound, then they haven't heard a word. They've literally just glanced at it and glanced right back off. So one of the things that I do is that I add captions to my stories. Now, the purpose of the captions is to tell you exactly what the video is about. And one of the tips that I recommend for creating your caption is to create it in a way that brings curiosity. You want to not tell the full picture because there isn't enough space anyway for that, but you want to give enough juicy information that someone goes, oh, what is she talking about? Let me turn on my sound and watch this video. So for example, if you're teaching on a specific topic, if you're giving 5 steps to something, you want to share that, or you want to pick out the 5th step, for example, and share that 5th step as text on top of that video. And you know, and you can even tell people, turn on your sound to hear the rest of this, right? Really, really important that you are utilizing the captions to really bring attention. But not only that, not only does it bring attention, but it also brings you retention, which is where people actually stick around and watch that story and the rest of your stories if you do what I do, which is a story series essentially. So really, really important that you help your followers along the way to not only catch their attention, but to retain their attention by adding captions to your stories. Okay, and that brings me to my favorite strategy, which is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people are not doing. And this absolutely drives me mad because I'm just like, come on, this will really help you to grow your following. But not only that, this specific tip is not just to grow your following, actually, it's actually to move your followers from Instagram into your email list. And this tip, wait for it, is all about deep linking that link in your bio, right? As you all know, with Instagram, you only get one spot for the link in your bio. Now, what a lot of people do is they just pop that one link in there, or they pop a link to just something that doesn't even help them to grow. It can be a link to their website or anything like that, which, by the way, is just such a waste of your time to do. What you want to do instead is make sure that you are deep linking. Make sure that when somebody clicks that link, that it gives them access to several other places that they could visit. Now, one of the tools that I use to do this is called Shorby. Now, I'm going to link that in the description so that you can grab hold of it and use it. I don't own it, so you can use it. It doesn't matter, right? But what this tool allows me to do is that it gives me a lot of options for people to actually click on. So I use this to promote videos, I use this to promote lead magnets, I use this to sell. People have bought products, yes, just by clicking on this link. What I also love about the way that I do it is because it gives me a lot of great analytics. So I know instantly exactly what's working, what my followers want to see. So when I look on this, when I click on it and I look at the analytics, I can see that this specific link has generated hundreds, I don't know, 500 clicks or 20 clicks, and this specific one has generated only 2 clicks, in which case I'm going to take out the one that isn't generating so many clicks and leave the one that's working hard for me and bringing people onto my email list. But deep linking essentially is you using anything, even if it's Linktree, right? As long as you have access to tracking and analytics, you can use it to really showcase what it is that you do, to give people options as to what they could click on. So use it for a variety of reasons. Use it to bring people to your webinars, use it to bring people to schedule a call with you, use it to bring people to watch your YouTube videos, use it to bring people to wherever you want to take them to. But please, rookie mistake, avoid sending people to your website. Avoid having only one link in that bio. Just avoid anything like that, and avoid using tools that you cannot track and doesn't give you analytics. That's very important, because guess what? What you cannot track, you cannot change, and what you cannot change, you cannot grow, right? So these are my top tips. Now, a few things that I want you to do off the back of this video. Comment below and let me know which of these strategies really surprised you, right? Which of these mistakes are you making? I'm really curious to know. And of course, let me know any questions that you might have about growing your brand on Instagram. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. And of course, turn on your bell. And of course, if you haven't, and of course, I've said and of course so many different times. Anyway, so if you haven't already grabbed the freebie that I have, which is my tips on how to grow your Instagram super fast, make sure you click the link in the description, and of course, in the comment section. And of course, oh my goodness, Pam, stop saying and of course. Stop it. Click the link in the comment section and then grab that. Well, this has been a fun video. This is my 4th video that I'm recording today, so you know how it goes. My whole Instagram series will be available for you right on my channel. Make sure you go ahead and watch those, and I look forward to your comments. Love you all. God bless.